Since John Mishuki's intervention in the transportation industry, Kenya has experienced great changes in the sector. Some of these changes have been for the better.
When we came in, there were a lot of complaints about many people dying in the road accidents, congestion, harassment of the school children and commuters. And we went into reforms immediately, actually starting with February 2004 when we implemented the so-called Mishuki rules.
When the then Minister of Transport, Mr. John Mishuki, put his foot down in order to enforce adherence to set traffic rules, that included the use of seat belts, speed governors, and a fixed number of passengers in a matatu, the industry was thrown into chaos. Commuters used every mode of transport to get to their destinations, as most matatus were either on strike, protesting against the rules, or were afraid to be nabbed by the traffic police. Drivers and conductors were forced to wear uniforms and identification tags, while matatus and commuter taxis were compelled to have yellow strips for easy identification. This move restored some sanity in the Kenyan transport industry for a while. However, the enthusiasm that these bold government policies generated is slowly fading away.
We see drivers beginning to drive at fast. Accident rate is also increasing.
Madereva makondakta wakiwa na uniform wanakamatwa tu, hata ukibebea kwa stage polisi tu atakukamata na hata kosa makosa ya kuandikia.
Road transport is an important aspect of Kenya's economy, accounting for more than 80% of travel in Kenya, making it the most preferred mode of transportation. To improve Kenya's transport system, it is important that road networks are not only expanded, but built properly and well maintained. In line with our population increase over the years, traffic volumes on our highways and urban centers has equally grown. Many years of neglect of our road networks have only made things worse for motorists and public transport commuters. Worse still, bad roads full of potholes have become death traps for the Kenyan commuter. Road carnage has claimed thousands of lives annually with no end in sight. Since NARC came to power, the Kibaki administration has tried to deal with the problem of bad roads as well as rampant and reckless madness that has characterized the public transport system. Repairs and expansions have targeted major national road networks across the country. The rehabilitation and expansion of the northern corridor from Mombasa is one such major project being undertaken by the government with assistance from the European Union. This road plays a particularly important role in Kenya's regional transportation network. Despite the fact that it serves as a major transit highway for Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, and DR Congo, it is still a narrow two-lane highway over most of its length, making it the most congested and badly maintained highway on the Kenyan sector. The ripple effect of this poor road network is higher transport costs, higher commodity prices, higher commuter fares, which end up impacting negatively on the rural farmer, the jua kali artisan, and the poorly paid civil servant. Before the Mishuki laws came into effect, there was a thin line between craziness and total psychosis on our roads. It was a jungle out there. The matatu sector was totally uncontrollable. It was a law unto itself. The driver and his tout were the bosses of our road transport. The commuter was a poor, helpless plaything to be treated according to the moods of the tout. Once you entered a matatu, you surrendered all your rights and humanity to your tout.
A family would go to board a matatu. The luggage would be taken to another matatu. The wife would be taken to another one, the child will be taken to another one, the husband will be taken to another vehicle. Women were being harassed, pushed left, right, and center. More so, there were extortion of money. You buy a matatu today, before you put your matatu on a specific route, particular route, you are required to part with a hefty amount of money. The government had to step in.
It had actually become a business that is not owned by the person who has invested, because the owner had no supervision of his business at any moment.
The Mishuki rules instilled order in the public transport subsector. For a while, public service vehicles no longer carried excess passengers. They were equipped with speed governors and seatbelts for passenger safety. Loud music was banned, while matatu crews were compelled to wear uniforms. Safety on our roads was visible. Accidents on our roads dropped by 25%.
We used to have many accidents occurring in our roads. Hence, the loss of life of about more than 3,000 Kenyans every year. That was the highest number in the world.
You have been able to reduce the number from 43 deaths per 10,000 vehicles in the beginning of 2004 to, end of 2003 to the current one of about just about that 3.
The Transport Licensing Board is charged with the responsibility of coordinating and controlling the transport sector in the country.
And also to make sure that the compliance in respect with the Mishuki rules and other traffic rules are implemented.
When an industry is over-regulated, and there is no assurance that there is proper enforcement.
I would want to believe the crackdowns are not necessary, because on daily basis we have officers on the roads. At the same time, the business of regulating the PSVs cannot be left to the operators and the officers alone. The consumers too should actually be the biggest regulators.
Government should provide guidelines and facilitate rather than be involved in imposing rules and regulations on people.
Kenya's railroad system has about 2,778 kilometers of narrow gauge, 1-meter track. The corporation manages 150 stations, a fleet of 156 locomotives, and some 7,000 coaches and wagons, including container carrying rail trainers. The system, managed by the Kenya Railways Corporation, serves both Kenya and landlocked countries in the East African region. Although this is an important avenue for freight, years of mismanagement have seen the amount of cargo transported through Kenya Railways drop from 7 million tons to approximately 2.5 million tons per year. The most important route runs from Mombasa through Nairobi to the Ugandan border. Kenya also has commuter rail that serves the Nairobi suburbs.
The railway transport has been poorly managed for a long time, more than 15 years. And it became very clear that this is one area that we needed to move away from public control, government management, to private management as a way of injecting commercial ways of managing into that area.
Hailed as the most complex transaction in Kenya's history, the acceptance and subsequent signing of Rift Valley Railways as the concessionaire of Kenya-Ugandan Railways in October 2005, to a large degree, is symbolized by the amount of agitation all along the deal's various processes.
The railway transport is very key in many areas. So it was decided as soon as the new government came in that this shouldn't be concessioned. And we have gone through that. We have been having transaction advisors from IFC and other international organizations, specialists in railway management, and we have now gone very far.
I would like to reassure you that this is the right step forward. We need to modernize. We need to be competitive. We need to provide services not only for ourselves, but the whole region.
We expect a radical change. We expect that with the proper maintenance and management, the same railway will be able to increase its capacity by more than 5 times. The speeds will go up, and we are likely to attract, possibly in the first 5 years, we are thinking that more than 60% of the cargo from Mombasa should have gone back to the railway.
The concessioning will enable the services to be cheaper, affordable, okay, and to be available also. Yeah. But perhaps at a later date the government might revisit the concession and see whether to reduce the time frame and also to bring in local investors, particularly the public. If it were my view, I would have even gone for a model like Kenya Airways. We have a local manager who has made that mode of transport very efficient.
Kenya's principal seaport, Mombasa, is the main sea outlet for both inland Kenya and landlocked countries of East and Central Africa, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, and Southern Sudan. Kenya Ports Authority, created in 1978, manages port operations at Mombasa as well as inland container depots in Nairobi, Eldoret, and Kisumu. The KPA also has jurisdiction over the small ports in various parts of the country. Mombasa is the most important of these ports, with 21 berths that can handle all sizes of ships and around 300,000 containers per year. Freight handled through Mombasa jumped by 12.6% in 2003 to 14.3 million tons, but inefficiencies, corruption, and deteriorating infrastructure at the port continue to be cited as major deterrents to business in Kenya.
We created new institutions like Kenya Maritime Authority for more tight regulation. Kenya Port Authority has been revitalized in the last 3 years from a loss-making body with a 20 billion deficit in the year 2000. It is now among the 10 big companies in the country, turnover of about 15 billion, profit of the other year of close to 4 billion shillings. And it is able to finance its re-equipping program of 5 billion through internally generated resources.
More than 200 airports and airfields, of which 15 have paved runways, including the 4 with runways longer than 3,000 meters. About 35 airfields can be considered commercial. 3 airports handle international flights: Nairobi's Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, Mombasa's Moi International Airport, and Eldoret International Airport. Other airports are Wilson in Nairobi, Malindi, Kakuma, Kisumu, and numerous other airstrips throughout the country. Already, Jomo Kenyatta International Airport is being renovated at a cost of $41 million. The project is set to modernize facilities and safety at JKIA, including perimeter fencing and new navigation security and baggage handling equipment. The runway extension at JKIA will raise capacity from 2.5 to 5.5 million passengers per year. A key objective of the airport upgrade is to win Category 1 status from the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration to allow for direct flights between JKIA and U.S. airports. Direct flights would boost tourism and trade and secure JKIA's status as a regional hub.
Kenya Airport Authority is completely turned around. Also, the expansion program at Jomo Kenyatta, 90% is financed by internally generated resources. This was another loss-making organization by the end of 2002. And the hub is now one of the best in Africa. KQ, Kenya Airways, top company now in Africa and in Kenya.
The economic impact that a good transport system can have in Kenya is immense. An efficient transport system will increase employment opportunities for the youth joining the job market, enrich our culture, and generate economic growth. New transport policies should be put in place to improve our road networks, transport system, and safety for travelers. Kenya's roads will offer efficient, dependable, durable, and safe service if better design and maintenance procedures are adopted and followed by the government. More importantly, there should be a special police unit called the Highway Police Patrol to deal with traffic offences on our highways. These patrols should replace current roadblocks that have become illegal toll stations for our men in blue. And as our men in blue continue to levy taxes on motorists, death tolls keep on rising. The new Kenya does not need this kind of behavior.